At first glance, these four images seem ordinary. However, they actually show evidence of an object moving in our galaxy. And no, we're not talking about any object, but one from interstellar space. And even the Harvard scientist, Avila Webb, says that it could be an extraterrestrial spacecraft coming to invade us. What? Yes, that. But what do we know about this object so far? We know that it moves faster than any other object that has visited us. We know that it is much bigger than them. And it is estimated to be between 3 and 11 billion years old. This is an object that in recent weeks has sparked all kinds of controversy because of the unusual way its brightness increases, even contradicting certain scientific predictions. An object will reach its closest point to the Sun at the end of October. What happens then? Could this object bring us new revelations about the formation of comets in the far reaches of the cosmos? Or, as some suggest, could it be more than a comet? Possibly a spaceship from another civilization coming to attack us? Well, let's not get ahead of ourselves. This report analyzes which details about this object are prompting thousands of articles right now. We'll quickly review the history of other interstellar objects that have visited us. And we'll delve into the idea that we might be witnessing the first extraterrestrial contact. Get your telescopes ready and enjoy the strangest of the three-eye atlas. Before we continue, I want to clarify that all the information circulating about this object is still part of an ongoing debate. And perceptions about it may vary as days go by and it can be observed more closely. If you want us to make more parts about this, updating what is known, write the word Comet in the comments. If more than 500 people write Comet, we'll make a second part. Otherwise, we'll move on to other topics. Also, I invite you to subscribe, leave a like, and suggest possible topics for other videos on this channel. Let's begin. Let's begin. What is it? It all started with a flash. Not one visible to the human eye, but a faint variation in the data recorded by a sky monitoring system in Hawaii. In the early morning of July 1, 2025, the Asteroid Terrestrial Impact Last Alert System software, which stands for Asteroid Terrestrial Impact Last Alert System, noticed something different. A point of light that didn't match any known orbits. It was a flash that seemed to move too fast, too freely, almost like a fugitive. Within hours, astronomers reviewed the images, compared data, did the math, and checked the records over and over looking for a mistake. However, there was nothing. It was a true flash, a body entering our existence. It was more than clear that its trajectory didn't form any ellipse around the sun. Its curve was hyperbolic. This meant something amazing. It wasn't from here. Let's make a brief clarification. Scientists define the beginning of interstellar space as the point where the constant flow of matter and the sun's magnetic field stop affecting their surroundings. This point is called the heliopause and marks the end of a region created by the sun called the heliosphere. That flash that suddenly put everyone on alert hadn't originated in the solar system. It came from another star, from an unknown place. The discovery was officially confirmed when it was found that the visitor had already been recorded by other, somewhat less powerful telescopes. The images showed only a blurry object, which is why it drew no attention. But now it was clear. It was there and it wasn't stopping its relentless path. Days later, they named it 3 and Atlas. The name comes from the fact that, as we said, there had already been 2 other objects from interstellar space. That 3 and Atlas made headlines and sparked theories about its origin. The universe had already sent us enigmatic signals, 2 interstellar travelers that, just by passing through our solar system, changed the way we look at the sky. The first arrived in 2017 and its name was Oumuamua, which in Hawaiian means messenger that comes from afar. And first it was discovered by the Pan-STARRS telescope, and from the very beginning something didn't add up. Its shape was elongated, more like a cigar than a comet or asteroid. It lacked a coma, the gas and dust cloud that usually accompanies comets. And yet, its trajectory changed slightly, as if an invisible force was pushing it off its course. The astronomers tried to explain it with physical theories. Maybe it was emitting invisible gases, or maybe it was a rock spinning irregularly. For others, including renowned astronomer Avilo Aníbal astronomers, Choquillando strong energetically honored in Doha, the debate was fierce. The scientific community was divided between skepticism and fascination. For the first time in ages, ship and astronomical object were seriously discussed together. Just 2 years later, in 2019, another visitor crossed the boundaries of our solar system. To Borisov. Unlike Oumuamua, Borisov did have a tail, it did release gases, and its behavior matched that of a traditional comet. But its speed and trajectory showed that it came, without a doubt, from another star system. Both events revolutionized the way we understand space archaeology and were a unique opportunity to get closer to something truly inhospitable and completely foreign. This time with 3I Atlas, scientific enthusiasm was mixed with an undercurrent of suspicion, mystery, conspiracy theories, and something more. To appreciate the amazement, you must grasp the journey's scale. Interstellar space isn't an inert void, it's filled with dust, gas, radiation, and extreme cold. There, the remnants of ancient planetary systems wander for millions of years, expelled by collisions, explosions, or gravitational imbalances. 3I Atlas is one of those wanderers, which is why it has been considered a mineral messenger that has traveled unimaginable distances before coming into view of our instruments. When it entered the solar system, its speed was over 60 kilometers per second. Nothing bound to the sun by gravity moves that way. It crossed the heliopause boundary, passed between the outer planets, and began to warm up slowly. It was then that something puzzling happened. It started to shine earlier than expected, even far from the sun, at distances where water ice shouldn't sublimate. The James Webb Telescope detected cometary activity, signs that gases were escaping from its surface. Also, there was something strange about those proportions. Carbon dioxide was dominant, much more than water, and that's not common in most comets in our neighborhood. Scientists began to speculate. Could this be a clue about how comets form in other star systems, or was there something in its structure that made it different? The Hubble, the Keck, and Gemini telescopes, and even observatories in Chile and South Africa were also curious and pointed their lenses at the faint tail of 3I Atlas. They wanted to study it before it was lost forever. The images revealed a bright coma surrounding a rocky nucleus that was approximately 5 to 6 kilometers in diameter and could have a mass exceeding 33 billion tons. Or was that mentioned initially? Today, reports cite a diameter of 10 to 30 kilometers. The data is contradictory depending on the source, and even professionals validate certain speculations, arguing that they can't be completely ruled out. But at the same time and outside the laboratories, another kind of observers began to write a different story. Social networks, forums for astronomy enthusiasts, and conspiracy channels lit up. Many revisited the Avilo electric vehicle idea and speculated if 3I Atlas could be creations of another civilization. Maybe the equivalent of a message in a bottle in the open sea. It's not unusual to think that. Just look at our own history. While the cosmos sends us its mysterious messages, we've also sent out our own. The Voyager 1 and Voyager 2 probes were sent into space in 1977. Their initial mission was simple: study the giant planets, take pictures, measure magnetic fields, and then move on. Whether intentionally or not, decades later, those little probes would still be traveling and would have already crossed the boundary of the solar system. In 2012, Voyager 1 became the first object built by humans to reach interstellar space. Its signal, weak and delayed by almost 22 light hours of distance, still reaches Earth. In 2018, Voyager 2 also crossed the invisible boundary, separating the solar wind from interstellar dust. Both carry with them a message. The Golden Record, a recording designed by a committee led by Carl Sagan. It features greetings in 55 languages, planetary sounds, music, anatomical diagrams, and coordinates showing where we were born. Can you imagine another civilization coming across these space probes? Could the 3-to-1 Atlas be the reverse equivalent, sent to our place to study us? What if it's some kind of spy satellite disguised as a space rock, and that's why it behaves so unconventionally? Forums and videos discussed a supposed controlled trajectory, unusual maneuvers, or possible attempts at contact. None of that was corroborated by the scientific community, but the media frenzy had already begun. Also, a curious and unsettling suggestion has been made. Custom 3.1 suggests Atlas may have been near our solar system before, specifically in 1977. And, according to the calculations, it would have happened at a time when one of the most resonant mysteries regarding communication with extraterrestrial life was recorded. And in August of that year, a radio telescope in Ohio picked up an intense signal for 72 endless seconds. The astronomer Jerry Eman wrote WOW next to the printed data. Since then, the WOW signal became an enigma that was never repeated, at least until now. The main observatories released official statements clarifying that there was no evidence of artificial behavior in the supposed comet. The variable light, sometimes seen as a spacecraft wink, could be explained by the irregular rotation of a non-spherical body and occasional release of volatile gases. Opinions remain divided, and many agree that it will be at the end of October when the answers will finally appear. Between October 29 and 30, 2025 3.1 Atlas will reach its closest point to the Sun at a distance of about 210 million kilometers just inside the orbit of Mars. At that moment, our star will apply the maximum thermal energy to its surface, and it won't be easy to observe that event because of the position of each of the bodies and the lack of proper instruments. Some believe that this movement is not accidental, but eerily planned. Could it be 3-to-1? Atlas has a carefully studied trajectory whose purpose is to reach the closest point to the Sun in a place where it can't be detected. More simply, is it hiding? This loss of visibility is exactly what fuels the uncertainty. We don't know if the current activity will increase, remain steady, or if the object might break apart or change drastically. The possibilities range from a sharp increase in the coma and tail, which could cause a spectacular comet display, from late November to fragmentation episodes that would change its signature and the interpretation of the data. Observers are therefore on edge. Telescopes must capture everything they can, even after the conjunction of the body with the Sun. Will we discover more about the origin of everything we know? Will we witness something never before seen by humanity? Will it be proven that the universe observes us as much as we observe it? The most alarmist people stay on guard. Many believe that our big mistake was sending so much information about our world on the Voyagers. Is it a coincidence that the activity of interstellar elements has increased since our signals traveled farther and farther? Maybe someone has already seen the famous Golden Record and is trying to make a subtle approach. It's impossible to know. For now, we can only look up and watch the infinite, hoping that anything approaching comes in peace.